I am telling you for the last time, move this vehicle immediately or it's getting towed. You are illegally parked. Are these your keys? I need you to hand them over to me right now.
Tonight, she was a keynote, the honored guest, the woman whose company funded half the event. Yet the police officer at the door didn't even glance at her ID. His palm shot out, flat, cold. Back of the line, he said. Maya froze. There was no line, only the low hum of jazz drifting from inside and the officer's expression, tight, uninterested, already deciding who she was. The badge on his chest reflected the overhead lights, a sharp glint against the dark fabric. I'm here for the Ellison Foundation Gala, she said, voice steady. He looked her up and down, slow. You're here for staff check-in? Supplies go through the service entrance. The air thinned around her. She heard her own pulse, heavy and hot. The officer shifted his weight, gripping his belt like he expected resistance. People passed behind her, not stopping, not questioning. A single line cut through the music and the rain, slicing into her spine. You don't look like someone they'd let own anything in there. For a breath, Maya couldn't move. Then the officer leaned forward, fingers brushing his radio, and the radio crackled with her name. She wasn't supposed to hear it. He wasn't supposed to see it. His eyes widened, and the door behind him swung open. Cliffhanger. Moment. To breathe, to clear her thoughts after the initial confrontation outside. Now she approached the entrance with a deliberate, steady stride, each click of her heels sharp against the wet stone. The Ellison Foundation Gala banner hung above the doors, illuminated in gold. Her name, her legacy, her work. Officer Grayson blocked the center doorway like a man guarding a throne that did not belong to him. He saw her coming. His jaw tightened. Maya's pulse steadied into something cold. Identification, he said. She exhaled through her nose. We've already done this. You didn't provide sufficient verification. I provided corporate ID, state ID, and the confirmation email. He gave a half shrug. Didn't look official. That's because you dismissed it before you even looked. A couple entered behind her, white, dressed casually for a gala, but Grayson lifted the velvet rope for them without a second glance. The man looked uncomfortable. The woman avoided eye contact entirely. Maya spoke again, calm and clipped. I'm the keynote speaker. You're on the staff list, he replied. Staff checks in elsewhere. I wrote the opening speech. You can write speeches for people without being the person giving them. Her stomach tightened. I also own the organization hosting this event. A dry laugh escaped him. Sure you do. A burst of trumpet from inside echoed through the hall, a lively jazz riff that contrasted sharply with the taut air at the door. Maya felt an ache in her chest, not of fear, but of humiliation layered with fury. She kept her posture tall. From inside, a voice called, Maya. Her assistant, Lyra, hurried through the doorway, clutching a tablet. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you hadn't come in yet. Grayson's expression flickered. Lyra stopped short when she saw him. Officer, this is Maya Ellison. Founder, CEO, host, everything. You need to let her through. A couple behind them stopped to listen. Grayson cleared his throat. She didn't present adequate. She did, Lyra snapped. You ignored it. Whispers rippled outward. Maya said nothing. The silence pressed harder than any words. Lyra stepped closer to her. They are waiting for you inside. The senator arrived early, and the board wants to go over the speech cues. Maya turned to Grayson. Are you denying me entry again? His throat bobbed. Misunderstanding, he muttered. Go ahead. He stepped aside. The shift felt grudging, resentful, like he was moving a mountain 1 inch at a time. Maya walked forward. She didn't brush against him, didn't look his way, but she felt his stare burning between her shoulder blades, anger, disbelief, something uglier beneath. Inside, warmth and light swallowed her. Crystal chandeliers, polished marble, the quiet clatter of glasses, perfect elegance, built partly from her donations, her strategy, her night spent drafting proposals until sunrise. Yet the humiliation clung like the mist outside, seeping into her skin. Lyra whispered. Do you want to report him? Not now, Maya said. A board member approached immediately. Elliot Shaw, wearing a navy suit that looked expensive but faintly smug. His smile was tight. Rough arrival. She gave a neutral nod. It's handled. Shaw leaned in slightly. We can't have scenes at the main entrance, Maya. Not tonight. Her gaze sharpened. The scene wasn't mine. Optics don't work that way. He straightened his cufflinks. Just keep things smooth, especially with the partnership vote next week. There it was, the implication that her dignity was negotiable, that his comfort was a priority. Maya's voice chilled. Thank you for the reminder. He moved on without offering help or apology. Lyra murmured. He should have acknowledged. It's fine, Maya said. We need to rehearse. But it wasn't fine. The shame, the anger, the way people's eyes slid away, it all scraped against her ribs with every step. When she reached the stage to test a microphone, her reflection stared back from the glossy piano finish of the podium. Composed, impeccably dressed, controlled, a woman who built an empire, a woman who had been told, at the door of her own event, that she didn't belong. The lights dimmed for the opening announcements. Applause rose. Maya inhaled slowly. Behind her, through the thin gap of the curtains, she could see Grayson still stationed at the entrance, unbothered, unmoved, already reshaping the story in his head. And as she stepped onto the stage, she knew this wasn't over. The applause from Maya's speech still echoed faintly when she stepped off the stage, but she felt none of its warmth. It washed past her like water against stone, loud, bright, meaningless. The spotlight had gone dark, yet eyes continued to follow her, some sympathetic, some curious, some calculating. Lyra met her at the bottom of the steps with a glass of water. You nailed it. Maya accepted it without drinking. They weren't listening to the speech. They were listening for a mistake. Not everyone. Enough. They moved through the crowd, weaving between clusters of donors and officials. Conversations dipped when she passed, then resumed in muted tones. She caught fragments. Such a misunderstanding should have been handled discreetly. You know how these things get spun. A woman in a sequined shawl intercepted her. Ms. Listen, I just want to say how sorry I am for what happened outside. Completely unacceptable. Maya forced a professional smile. Thank you. The woman leaned closer. Still, you know, evenings like this need tight security. Things get complicated. Maya held her gaze. Complicated for whom? The woman faltered. I only meant. It's fine, Maya said, ending the exchange. As they walked on, Lyra muttered, She meant exactly what you think she meant. Of course she did. At the far end of the ballroom, a string quartet played something soft and elegant. Servers moved between tables like a choreographed tide. Maya's foundation logo glowed on two massive projection screens. Her event, her name, yet she felt like a ghost moving through it. A man in a gray blazer stepped directly into her path. Charles Winton, an old money donor who had always dressed like he resented modern fabrics. He gave a sympathetic sigh that sounded more like performance than empathy. Maya, my dear, the officer at the door, terribly unfortunate. His tone sharpened. But I do think your reaction may have heightened things. My reaction? Maya repeated. Well, these officers are trained to follow instinct. They notice certain behaviors. Lyra stiffened. She showed ID. He refused to look at it. Winton's hand lifted dismissively. Yes, but sometimes a calm approach prevents escalation. These misunderstandings don't happen without some contribution from both sides. Maya said nothing for a long moment. Then, cool and precise, I appreciate your thoughts, Charles. I'll keep your expertise in mind next time I'm denied entry to a building I own. Color rose in his face. I didn't mean. But Maya had already moved past him. Near the foyer, she stole a glance toward the entrance. Officer Grayson remained stationed there, posture rigid, eyes scanning the crowd as though searching for trouble he hoped she would cause. He saw her watching. His expression didn't shift. A new wave of humiliation surged through her, hot and metallic. Inside, she had a reputation to protect. He had a badge. That imbalance hung in the air like static. A journalist approached, young, eager, eyes shot behind large glasses. Press badge swinging. "Ms. Listen, I'm Tessa from the Herald. I heard something happened outside. Could you give a quick comment?" Lyra tensed. This isn't the right moment. Maya raised a hand. "It's all right." She turned to Tessa. "What did you hear?" "That an officer turned you away at your own event. Some guests saw it. Others posted about it. A few comments are already circulating online." Lyra swore under her breath. Tessa added, "I'm preparing a piece. Your perspective would matter." Maya hesitated. The room pressing around her, music swelling, conversations buzzing, lights reflecting off crystal. She imagined her word becoming headlines, stripped of nuance, framed as conflict. "Not yet. Thank you for asking," Maya said carefully, "but I won't be giving a statement tonight." Tessa nodded, disappointed, but respectful. "Door stays open." Maya rejoined Lyra near the center of the ballroom. The speeches had ended. Dinner service began. Silverware chimed lightly against porcelain. "You should leave early," Lyra suggested quietly. "People are staring." "I know." "Then let's go." "Not yet." She watched as Grayson's silhouette through the glass door shifted, imposing, immovable. A man who made a mistake and was now too proud, too protected, too confident to acknowledge it. She felt the humiliation calcify into something sharper. A board member brushed past her, murmuring, "Optics are rough tonight, Maya. Might be best to keep a low profile." There it was again, advice coated in threat. She didn't respond. When the gala finally transitioned into its softer closing hour, Maya stepped outside to breathe. The rain had stopped. The city lights flickered across puddles, turning the street into a mosaic. Behind her, the door opened. Grayson's voice, She didn't tone. "Is there something you need, officer?" He approached to her side, close enough for her to smell the faint scent of his aftershave, the kind worn by men who believe they had nothing to fear. He kept his tone professional, but clipped. "I'll be submitting my report tonight." "I assumed you would." "It'll confirm I followed protocol." Her jaw tightened. Protocol does not include discrimination. His stare hardened. "Be careful making accusations." She finally looked at him. "Careful has never protected me." He shifted, jaw clenching. Then he walked back to his post, slow, deliberate, as though he believed he had won something. Maya watched him go. In the reflection on the glass doors, she saw herself, poised, unbroken, but shaken. A room full of eyes had watched her suffer humiliation. She did nothing to deserve, but none of them had stopped it. She inhaled the cold night air, steadying herself. This wouldn't be buried. Not by him. Not by the department. Not by anyone. The stack of documents on Maya's desk grew thicker by the hour. Each page sharpened the picture, a system designed not to correct abuse, but to hide it. Lyra moved between printers, calls, and encrypted folders, her expression hardening with every new file. "Another complaint," she said, handing over a report dated 4 years back. "Dismissed within 24 hours. No follow-up interviews." Maya skimmed it. Same patterns, same language, uncooperative subject. Officer acted according to departmental instinct. That last phrase repeated often enough to feel scripted. "How many is that?" Maya asked. 17 so far." Maya kept reading. 17 people. 17 stories. 17 versions of the same dismissal. The office felt colder. "Get me their contact information." "I'm trying," Lyra replied. "Most numbers are inactive. A few turned out to be work numbers that never belonged to the complainants in the first place." "Meaning?" "The department didn't record correct details. Maybe on purpose." Maya didn't sit. Couldn't. The knowledge kept her upright, pushing her toward action she could no longer postpone. "Reach whoever you can," she said. "I'll speak to them myself." By late afternoon, they reached the first one. A man named Harold Jenkins, a school bus mechanic with a voice worn from years of shouting over engines. The video call crackled on screen as he adjusted his camera. "You're that CEO woman," he said, squinting. I saw you on the news clip. Something happened at that charity thing. Yes, Maya said, and I found your complaint against Officer Grayson. Harold let out a low whistle. Didn't think anyone would ever say that name to me again. Your case was dismissed. It always is, he muttered. He leaned back, the chair creaking. That officer stopped me outside my own apartment building. Said I looked suspicious. I had groceries in each hand. When I complained, they wrote me up as belligerent, threatened to arrest me if I pushed it. Maya listened, each detail layering atop her own experience like a weight she refused to put down. Why didn't you pursue it further? She asked. He gave a humorless laugh. Pursue what? A system that writes its answer before you even ask a question. Silence stretched. If you're going after him, Harold added, you'll need more than truth. You'll need people who aren't afraid. Maya nodded. I'll find them. He met her gaze through the screen. Then good luck. You're stepping into something bigger than a bad cop. The call ended. Maya stood motionless for a moment, the screen's reflection dimming on her face. Bigger? Yes. She had known that, but hearing it aloud turned knowledge into confirmation. The next meeting took place in a small cafe on the city's south side. The woman waiting for them wore a delivery uniform, hands clasped tightly around a paper cup. Her name was Deirdre. Last year, she had filed a complaint, also against Grayson, for detaining her during a package route. Her ID badge had been dismissed as potentially counterfeit. He made me stand against the truck, she said, voice trembling, while people walked by staring at me like I was a criminal. And then he laughed, said if I was legit, I wouldn't be shaking so much. Maya's jaw tightened, and when I filed a complaint, Deirdre continued, they sent me a letter saying the department found no actionable wrongdoing. Like my fear wasn't even real. It was real, Maya said quietly. Deirdre managed a small smile. Thank you. Most people just tell me I should let it go. That phrase again. A shield for the shielded. When they left, Lyra whispered, she's terrified, but she talked to you anyway. Yes, Maya said, because no one else ever listened. At headquarters the next morning, her legal team gathered, a group of sharp minds, calculating risk at every turn. Their unease was palpable. Ethan, the senior partner, spoke first. Maya, pursuing this formally will provoke institutional backlash. I'm aware. The department will protect its officer. They'll smear the complainants. They may smear you. I'm aware of that too. Another lawyer interjected. And your company is entering a major acquisition cycle. Any controversy could jeopardize negotiations. Maya leaned forward. I'm not negotiating my dignity, or anyone else's. Ethan sighed. Then you'll need airtight evidence. Complaints won't be enough. I know, Maya said, which is why we're collecting everything. Statements, documentation, patterns the department ignored. Lyra chimed in. We have 18 testimonies so far. More coming. Ethan rubbed his temples. This is a war, Maya, and wars cost. Maya's voice was steady. So does silence. The room went quiet. They knew she had already decided. Word of her inquiry spread faster than she expected. By mid-afternoon, an anonymous email reached her inbox. Careful who you're digging into. He has friends, powerful ones. Lyra paced behind her. This is intimidation. Maya read it again. Threat disguised as advice. Standard, predictable, hollow in its subtlety. Save it, she said. Add it to the file. That evening, as the city lights flickered awake, Maya prepared to leave her office. The hallway was quiet, too quiet for a building usually buzzing with late-night staff. She stepped through the glass lobby doors. A figure shifted near the curb. Officer Grayson. His posture was casual, leaning against a patrol car, but the tension underneath was unmistakable. He gave her a slow smile. Busy week. Maya didn't flinch. You're outside my office. Public sidewalk, he said, just checking in. Since you seem concerned about me. His tone was polite. His eyes were not. You falsified your report, Maya said. You interpreted it that way. You lied. Grayson pushed off the car, stepping closer. Careful throwing around accusations. Makes you sound emotional. The words sliced through her. Is this a threat? She asked. A conversation. He nodded toward her building. Big companies attract attention. You don't want the wrong kind. She kept her chin high. I'm not afraid of you. He smirked. You should be afraid of the people who protect me. He returned to his car, tapping the roof twice before sliding inside. The engine rumbled. The car rolled away. Maya stood motionless on the quiet street, breath steady, heart unbroken. She had stepped into something bigger, but she wasn't backing out. She would expose all of it, the man, the department, the system, and the system knew it. The morning after Maya's story exploded online, the city moved like it was holding its breath. She stepped out of her condo into cold air that smelled like metal and rain, phone buzzing nonstop in her hand. Her name was everywhere. Hashtags, news banners, angry comments, fierce defenses. 1,000 strangers had turned her humiliation into a battleground. She slid into the backseat of her car. Jordan, her driver for years, watched her through the rearview mirror. You holding up, Ms. Brooks? He asked quietly. Define holding, she muttered, clicking open another news alert. You want me to drive around a bit before the office? No. Straight there. The car rolled forward. Traffic thickened as they approached downtown. People stopped at crosswalks, whispering when they recognized her through the tinted glass. Inside the lobby of Brooks Innovations, the security guard straightened. Ms. Brooks, didn't expect you so early. Her voice felt steadier than her body. Work doesn't pause because people are loud. But she hesitated at the elevator. Glass walls reflected her face, tired, alert, angry, not broken. When she stepped onto the executive floor, silence spread like a dropped sheet. Employees murmured to one another, phones in hand, eyes full of sympathy and fear. Her assistant, Nina, hurried up. Maya, the board is asking for an emergency call in an hour. Media requests are overwhelming. And someone leaked an internal photo of you entering the station. Of course they did. Maya took a breath. Let's get ahead of it. But the ding of the elevator interrupted them. Two figures stepped out, Walter Claremont, chairman of the board, and Helen Strauss, general counsel. Their stiff shoulders telegraphed trouble. Walter didn't bother with greetings. Maya, a word. Now. He marched into the conference room. Maya followed, jaw tight, Nina slipping in behind her with a notepad. Walter slammed the door. Do you understand what kind of fallout this company is facing? Maya met his stare. The kind caused by a police officer abusing his authority? Yes, I'm aware. Helen interjected, voice clipped. We're dealing with sponsors reconsidering partnerships, investors panicking, and 3 news outlets spinning this as you escalating the situation. The optics are... Maya's laugh was dry and sharp. Optics? I was denied entry to my own event at my own venue. But the problem is optics. Walter leaned forward. You should have called one of us before you posted anything. So you could tell me to stay quiet. So we could manage this like adults, he snapped. Maya's pulse thudded in her ears, but her words were cool. I was humiliated in a public space. I'm not sweeping that under a rug so investors feel calm. Walter's face darkened. This isn't just personal anymore. You have responsibilities to this company, to the board. Nina stepped forward suddenly. With respect, sir, she responded exactly how any leader should when confronted with discrimination. Walter shot her a withering look. No one asked your opinion. Maya felt the rage rise in her chest. Walter, back off. He froze at the steel in her voice. Maya stood. I built this company, brick by brick, deal by deal. And you're telling me a racist officer humiliating its CEO is less damaging than me telling the truth. Helen sighed. We're asking for restraint. No, Maya said. You're asking for silence. The room fell still. Finally, Walter grunted. Fine, but don't expect unanimous support from the board. Some feel. Let me guess, Maya cut in, that I brought this on myself by expecting basic respect. He didn't answer. She walked to the door, turning back only once. Set the investor call. I'll handle them myself. The moment she stepped into the hall, Nina exhaled shakily. They are scared. They should be. But her phone buzzed again, this time with a message from an unknown number. You should have kept your mouth shut. You're making enemies you don't understand. She stared at it, heart icing over. Spam. Nina asked. Maybe, Maya said, but she didn't believe it. By noon, protests had begun outside the precinct. College students, activists, community leaders. Signs bobbed in the air. Let Ho in. Hold him accountable. Justice for Maya. At the same time, far-right commenters flooded her inbox with threats thinly disguised as warnings. Her leadership team gathered around a long table for the emergency investor call. The wall-sized screen flickered to life, revealing a mosaic of faces, some supportive, some wary, some openly hostile. An older investor cleared his throat. Ms. Brooks, while we sympathize, your public confrontation has led to instability. Instability existed the moment I was profiled, Maya replied evenly. A younger woman spoke up. Your courage has rallied the public behind you. The company is trending positively in several markets. Maya nodded. Exactly. We're not dealing with a PR scandal. We're dealing with a civil rights issue. The older investor bristled. We are not a political organization. We are, Maya said quietly, a company run by a black woman who was denied dignity by a public servant. That's political whether you like it or not. The room inside the company stayed pin-drop silent. Another investor muttered, this could cost millions. Or gain trust, Maya countered. People want leaders who stand for something. When the call ended, half the investors looked steadier. The other half looked ready to mutiny. Nina approached her. There's more. Of course there is. Officer Keller's lawyer made a statement. He claims you were argumentative and uncooperative, and that Keller acted in the interest of safety. Maya closed her eyes. They're going to rewrite everything. They are trying, Nina said softly, but people saw the footage. It won't stop them. The office lights felt harsh, the air too thin. For the first time all day, her hands trembled. Nina touched her arm gently. You're not alone in this. Maya forced a breath. I know. She looked toward her office window, down at the growing crowd, up at the towering skyline she had once believed was Hayes to command. Her phone vibrated again. Another unknown message. Stop before you destroy yourself. A chill slid down her spine. The backlash wasn't just noise anymore. It had teeth. Rain hammered the city the next morning, a dull drumming against the glass walls of Brooks Innovations. Maya arrived early, but half the leadership team was already gathered, murmuring in tight circles. Conversation stopped the moment she entered. Nina rushed to her side. They called an unscheduled board meeting. Closed door. Maya frowned. Without me? They said they'd loop you in afterward. She felt the punch of it, cold, calculated. What room? Maya asked. Conference 4B. Maya didn't wait. She strode down the hall, heels cracking like warning shots. When she reached the door, she heard voices inside, low, tense. Walter's voice. We have to consider interim leadership. Temporarily. For stability. Helen's voice. She's under tremendous pressure. This could be positioned as support rather than removal. Someone else chimed in. Investors are nervous, especially after that second video leak. Her stomach dropped. Second video? She pushed the door open. Every head jerked toward her. Silence. Walter cleared his throat. Maya, we were going to brief you. Don't lie, Maya said. What's going on? Helen folded her hands. Another angle of the incident surfaced. Edited. It selectively shows you raising your voice. Maya stared. Because I was being denied entry to my own building. Perception is shifting, Walter said. People think you escalated. Maya laughed once, incredulous. A black woman speaking firmly is escalation. Walter stood. Maya, this isn't about race. Everything about this is about race. A few board members shifted uncomfortably. Maya planted her palms on the table. You're talking about replacing me behind a closed door. Say it to my face. Walter tried for calm, but the tremor in his voice betrayed him. We're considering asking you to step down temporarily while the investigation continues. Temporary, Maya repeated, meaning you hope it becomes permanent. Helen spoke more gently. We're trying to protect the company. And who protects me? Maya whispered. No one answered. She straightened, every muscle tense. If you move forward with this, you're telling every employee here that standing up to racism is a fireable offense. Walter's jaw tightened. We need to think strategically. Strategic? Maya's voice sharpened. What's strategic about siding with a racist cop over your own CEO? One board member, a younger black man, finally spoke. I disagree with this entire meeting. Maya has my support. Maya nodded gratefully, but Walter cut him off. Dissent noted, but we must finalize our options. Maya stepped back. Make your decision. But understand, whatever you choose, it becomes public. All of it. Walter hesitated. For a moment, fear flashed in his eyes. She walked out before anyone could stop her. Nina hurried after her. Maya, wait. I'm fine, Maya said. You're shaking. She looked down. Her hands trembled violently. I'm furious. Take a breath, Nina urged. Maya leaned against the hallway wall. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. The building felt unfamiliar, like it had turned against her overnight. Her phone buzzed. An email from the City Police Union. Subject, voluntary mediation opportunity message. To avoid escalation, we suggest a private resolution without disciplinary action against Officer Keller. She stared at it. They are trying to silence you again, Nina murmured. Maya deleted the email. Then her screen lit up again, this time with a text from an unknown number. Stop before you lose everything. Maya swallowed hard. It's a third one. Nina's eyes widened. We need to report it. To who? The same department that protects Keller. Nina had no answer. By noon, internal backlash spread. Employees whispered in corners, unsure of what would happen next. Some offered supportive nods. Others avoided eye contact, worried about the instability swirling around their CEO. In the cafeteria, Maya overheard fragments. Did she provoke him? The video looks bad. She shouldn't have yelled. If she was a man. If she was white, this wouldn't even be a debate. The last comment hit her hardest. Jordan appeared beside her, unexpected. I thought you might need backup. She managed a thin smile. I'm holding it together. Barely, he said gently. She didn't argue. He pulled out his phone. Look at this. A news clip was playing. Officer Keller outside the precinct, giving a statement. The reporter asked, Do you regret the confrontation with Ms. Brooks? Keller replied smoothly, I regret she felt disrespected. I treat everyone according to protocol. She seemed agitated. Maya's breath caught. Jordan clenched his jaw. His flipping the narrative. It won't hold, Maya said, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her doubt. The clip ended with Keller stepping into a car, smirking. A smirk meant for her. Back upstairs, Maya found a younger board member, Andre Lewis, waiting outside her office. I'm sorry, he said quietly. They are panicking. And when people panic, they get cowardly. They are willing to sacrifice me, Maya replied. No, they are willing to sacrifice justice. That's worse. She appreciated the clarity. Andre lowered his voice. The edited video, someone inside the department leaked it. On purpose. Maya closed her eyes. They are coordinating. And if the board removes you, he said, it'll look like confirmation that you overreacted. She looked out at the rain-smeared skyline. So I'm fighting on 3 fronts, the police, the public, and my own company. Andre nodded. But you're not fighting alone. She studied him. Why are you helping me? Because I know what it looks like when a system decides you're a threat. Maya's throat tightened. He continued, and because Keller's story is already falling apart. Some officers are anonymously confirming he's done this before. Maya's pulse quickened. If that comes out, it could shift everything. Hope flickered, thin, fragile. but real. Andre placed a file on her desk. I'll keep you updated, but be careful. They are pushing you toward a breaking point. After he left, Maya sat down slowly. The weight of everything pressing around her, betrayal, exhaustion, public scrutiny, corporate politics, threats from unknown numbers. Her phone vibrated again. Another message. Last warning. The air in her office felt suddenly colder. The walls seemed to close in. For the first time, Maya wondered. The storm eased overnight, but inside Maya's home the air felt just as heavy. She hadn't slept. Each time she closed her eyes, the message returned. Last warning. She sat at her kitchen table, fingers wrapped around a mug she hadn't touched. Dawn crept through the blinds in thin, gray stripes. The silence felt deeper than usual, like the world was holding its breath. Her phone vibrated again. This time, a video link. She hesitated, then pressed play. The footage showed her in the gala foyer, tense, speaking sharply. Nothing of Keller's initial refusal, nothing of his smirk, nothing of a humiliation that pushed her voice higher. The clip was sliced, rearranged, engineered to make her look irrational. But the final frame chilled her most. A caption added by someone anonymous. Unstable leader exposed. Her throat tightened. She set the phone down slowly, deliberately. She wasn't unstable. She wasn't irrational. She was tired of equations that never balanced in her favor. A knock startled her. Lyra entered, already tense. Your security detail forwarded something. You need to see this. She handed Maya a printed screenshot. A private forum thread, law enforcement insiders. Keller's name all over it. Mocking her. Calling her oversensitive. Calling her entitled. Calling her dangerous. And worse, implying that her board was moving to contain her. Maya felt nausea rise. They're coordinating against me. Yes, Lyra said quietly, and they aren't even hiding it anymore. Maya pressed her palms to her eyes, trying to steady herself. I am so tired, Lyra. I know. No, Maya said. You don't. She stood abruptly, chest scraping across the floor. I have spent my whole life being twice as calm, twice as patient, twice as careful to make rooms comfortable that were never built for me. And the second I defend myself, they call me aggressive. Her voice cracked. They want me to doubt myself. They want me quiet. They want me small. Lyra stepped forward. Then we give them the opposite. Maya exhaled shakily. I'm losing control of the narrative. No, Lyra said. You're losing control of a narrative. It was a small distinction, but it mattered. At the office, the atmosphere had soured further. Whispers followed her down the hallway. Eyes flicked away or lingered too long. She walked into her office and froze. Her framed portrait, usually centered behind her desk, was on the floor, glass shattered. Someone had knocked it over. Purposefully. She stared at it, jaw tightening. Jordan arrived seconds later. What happened? Maya knelt and lifted the frame carefully. A diagonal crack split her face across the middle. They're getting bold, Jordan muttered. Maya whispered, I'm being erased. Jordan looked at her, really looked. You're being targeted. Before she could respond, Andre burst in, pale and breathless. We have a problem, he said. Maya set the ruined frame on her desk. Add it to the list. No, this one's serious. Andre handed her his tablet. A news headline glowed across the screen. Brooks Innovations Board schedules emergency vote. Sources say CEO may be removed. Maya's heart punched against her ribs. They leaked it, she whispered. Andre nodded. On purpose. To make it look like you're unstable and the board is restoring order. Maya felt the room tilt slightly. She gripped her desk to steady herself. When is the vote? 5 hours. Her pulse throbbed in her ears. 5 hours until they stripped her of everything she built. 5 hours until Keller could call her reaction proof of guilt. 5 hours until the public saw her as the problem, not the victim. They are cornering me, Maya said. Andre lowered his voice. There's more. Maya stared at him. Keller's union rep is planning a press conference after the vote, he said. They are going to paint you as hostile erratic, and a danger to security protocol. Maya's breath shook. They are choreographing my downfall. Yes, Andre said, unless you beat them to the MIC. How? She asked. Jordan answered, tell the truth, publicly, before they do. Maya froze. Go public, Jordan said firmly. Call out the lies. Name the pattern. Take the narrative back. It's risky, but it might be the only way to stop the vote, or at least expose what they are doing. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. Wind roaring, ground crumbling. If she spoke now, publicly, loudly, she could salvage everything, or lose it all faster. Maya looked down at the shattered portrait again. Her own face stared up at her through broken glass. She whispered, I don't want to break. Jordan knelt beside her. You're not breaking. You're being pushed. There's a difference. Andre added, and you're allowed to fight back. The room fell silent. Maya slowly stood, and something inside her clicked, clean, decisive, unmistakable. I'll speak, she said. Neither Jordan nor Andre looked surprised. Lyra entered as if she had sensed the moment. Media room is ready. Whenever you are. Maya nodded. Give me 10 minutes. In her private office, she stood before the mirror. She smoothed her hair, straightened her jacket, wiped her eyes. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. We warned you. Now you'll regret it. Maya stated the message. Then she deleted it, and she walked out the door. But as she stepped into the hallway, she stopped cold. Her office door, still ajar, now had a single strip of red tape across it. It hadn't been there seconds earlier. No one could have placed it without being seen. Jordan's voice came from behind her. Maya? She didn't answer. The tape was a message, a mark, a warning. Her pulse hammered. The fight was escalating. Someone had crossed from intimidation to intrusion. As she stood there, breath trapped in her chest, one chilling thought formed. If they were willing to mark her door, what would they do next?